Robert Fair's The Diary, written by Mark Quinn.
This episode of The Diary is called Holiday. Well, here I go again. Another addition into my diary, letting the human race in the future know how a 9-year-old boy lived his life. I wonder if when I'm long gone they'll read it and erect a statue in my honour on the local common. But then again, they'll most probably pull it down during the Them and They Lives Matter riots and tip me headfirst into the duck pond. Okay, Uncle, I'm getting on. Stupid old fart. For my sins this year, I'm going on holiday with my auntie and uncle. Grandma and Grandpa can't come this year due to Grandma having a hip replacement. She'll be like the Bionic Man when they've finished. Well, the Bionic Gran. She needs it doing. She fell down the stairs the other day and landed on the cat. Bloody good job it was the cat. I was at the bottom of the stairs moments before. It could have been me. I'll write this down in blue ink. Lucky bastard. Where was I? Yes, Them and They Lives Matter riots and my statue head first in the pond. I just don't get it. Stephen Kildare identified as a cat in school last summer, and they sent him home because the policy in school is we can't bring in pets. Even when he shit in the photography darkroom and the teacher dragged him out by his ear. I'll write this in red ink. Ouch! He was taken to the headmistress's room and they sacked the teacher for animal cruelty. The school has that much gender fluidity they leak. I'm a boy, through and through. Yes, I still am. Katie Singleworth said she wants to marry me when she gets older, but that's a no-go, because I can bet a pound coin she'll be a man by then. The Tartar's facial hair now. Auntie and Uncle, I'm going in the next carriage. I feel a bit under the weather with all this travelling. Had to get away from those two pilchards. He says his hand's all over her. It's like watching some sick porno. And I have to stay in a bed and breakfast with the two sickos for 5 days. When they arrive back to see the Bionic Gran and I'm not with them, they'll have to tell her it's because I've been put in a mental hospital because my mind has turned to mush. She'll kick them a new arsehole with her powerful leg. Wait for this. Vimto. It must say it's growing on me. But the wind, excuse me, and this can only happen to me having an auntie and uncle called Dick and Fanny. Can you imagine what it was like when I was in school last week and my form tutor, bad breath herself, Mrs. Rogers, asked me what I'm doing in the summer holidays? You can just see my friends' faces if I said, I'm going to stay in a shit bed and breakfast with Dick and Fanny. They'd think I was going to be appearing in the next edition of Tittywwank. I'll write this in green ink because I feel like throwing up. Dirty bastards. Justin Timberlake in concert, and I'm going to Dogturd Beach on the Sea, staying in a shitty bed and breakfast with Dick and Fanny. Well, Fatty Jones's dad is loaded. My grandma said my father ran off with his concubine. I mean, what man would leave his wife and a 1-year-old baby and run off with a blinking prickly rodent? Bloody Vimto. Well, I hope this year will be a damn sight better than last year's holiday with Grandma and Grandpa. We went to the Isle of Wight and Grandpa shut himself when we were at the Costa Coffee vending machine. It would have been even more embarrassing and humiliating for me if it wasn't for the other coffin dodger standing in the queue who thought it was herself. I just walked off and left Grandpa and some old crow from The Walking Dead to argue over who shut themselves first. Never mind. Grandma having a plastic hip. Grandpa should have a plastic stopper stuck up his anus. When we got to the train station, my grandpa dropped me off, and I was standing near the entrance of the station whilst he was fetching my travel bag from the car. And I noticed there was this very pretty girl standing there with her mother and father. She reminded me of a very young Katy Perry. We even smiled at each other. Then Grandpa came up with my bag and said in his stupid loud voice, "Hurry, Robert, lad, you don't want to miss Dick and Fanny. And remember what your grandma said. Keep hold of Dick and give Fanny a big kiss." Well, my Katy Perry lookalike was gone, quicker than a tramp eating a Subway meatball marinara. I'll write this in 2 colours. 1 pink for my lost love, the delightful Katy Perry lookalike. I will draw a heart, and the other in browning for Grandpa in big letters. You're a shit. School holidays are not what they used to be. When I was younger, we went to Spain, the Costa del Crime, where all the British criminals had to. After being there for 2 weeks, I now think a fortnight in Parkhurst would be better. But my grandpa got drunk and my grandma got sunstroke. I stayed by the pool and swam between the used condoms and crisp packets. There was one amusing night of entertainment when the singers and dancer sang crap cover versions. It was barbecue night and they were singing. Well, I'll write this in black ink. Trying to sing. The very bad vocalist was trying to sing a top-class hit from no other than Taylor Swift when one of the bunny girls bent over too far and set a bottom alight from the hot coals. Everyone was cheering and she was being doused in beach sand to stop the spread of fire. My school friends told me about their holidays this year. Fatty Jones is going to America, if they can find a plane big enough to fit him in. Peter Smith is going to the Channel Islands. Katie Singleworth told me she's going abroad as she's off to the Shetland Islands. And Keith Winterbottom is on a working holiday. Well, that's what his father told him. They're clearing out his garage. I do hope this holiday is a good one. Believe me, I need a good break from school. It's been horrendous this term with those teachers. How they are still employed beats me. Uncle Dick told me we're staying in a 5-star bed and breakfast. Well, he's a pathological liar, storyteller and fraud. So with that, I bet it's no more than 3 stars. And he said it has a pool. What bloody bed and breakfast has a swimming pool? More like a duck pond. I'll write this in green pen. Uncle Dickhead. Well, only 2 more hours on this train, then 5 days of having fun with Dick and Fanny. How embarrassing. I bet the bed and breakfast is more like a dead and freak fest. I wouldn't be surprised if we're greeted at the door by Herman Munster.
That was a Mark Quinn production, read by Jennifer Quinn.